Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Geetika Verma. Geetika is the TEDx speaker and the host of 5 Minute Think podcast. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Geetika Verma. Geetika, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you because we can get a lot of inspiration for young people like you who are what they up to, and so we can model the success from the millennials. So Gatika, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with the podcast 5 Minute Think podcast?
So, public speaking has always been a really big part of my life. I actually gave my first talk when I was in sixth grade in front of my entire 600 student class in school. And that moment, I was so scared. I was like, my legs were shaking and everything. But from that moment till now, it's been quite a journey. I've given a lot of different talks on a lot of different platforms to a lot of different people. And now I'm happy to say that I am actually a TEDx speaker, as you mentioned earlier. I gave my TED Talk, You, Your Roles, and Your Future, at a TEDx J&J event. And that journey has been wonderful because it's actually allowed me to challenge myself at multiple points and just really allowed me to connect with people. And that's something that I really strive to be a goal in my life, connecting with as many people and learning from them. So when COVID hit and we all were locked inside our homes, it was really challenging for me because I didn't have that connection with people. So at first, I kind of just like shut down and I didn't have that link. And I realized that it was a big part of my life that was missing. So at that point, I actually decided to connect with my sister, my younger sister, who ended up becoming my co host for 5 Minute Think, Sonam Verma. And we got together and we decided to actually make our idea of having a podcast into a reality. And when we decided to do that, we couldn't figure out a topic. And it was one of those things where, like, we want to do this, but what should be the right way to actually launch a podcast with this? And one of the things was that we would get excited about the podcast one day, but then the next day we would be really busy because we're both students. And we realized that if we were busy, there are most likely a chance that many other people are also busy. So
That's
we
true.
kind of decided to use that into it. And we said that we're going to create 5 Minute Think where each episode is only going to be 5 minutes. And it's going to be a way to teach people to, teach them a skill, let them learn about something, just give themselves 5 minutes that they can take for themselves.
Oh, that is amazing. 5 minutes is a great thing. I used to go for a morning walk. Now I do an evening walk.
Mm.
And I used to go online for Facebook Live or Instagram Live or something for a few minutes. And I always talk about one thing, just
Yeah,
one incremental small thing. I
that's
couldn't believe after a few months, I got so many new friends. Hey, I'm looking, you didn't go for a walk today. I said, what happened? I'm missing that one new thing. So like people love to, they say it's a quick, it's to the point. There's no fluff. Directly, I'm going to learn one thing new today. So I like the idea of
awesome.
it you have done. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So your sister still listen to you after working together as a co-host on the podcast?
Yes, we're both very different in a lot of ways, but we work well together. So she is also a student. So I'm a student in college, and she is just finishing up her high school. And we both have that student experience, but then as professionals, when we come together, we have different ideas. So it works well because we're able to put our sister relationship on one side and then our professional co-host relationship on the other side.
Oh no, that's a great skill to have, because sometimes it's not easy to keep it separate. So
Absolutely.
yeah. No, we are so proud of you. You at your young age, you achieved so many things. And based on your experience so far, why is it important? As you said, you're in sixth grade. You have been in public speaking this year. Really, why is it important to effectively? Public speaking is basically effectively communicating to a lot of audience all at once. That's what that is. Why is it important for someone to learn effective communication or public speaking as early as possible?
Absolutely. So I think for me, when I used to think about public speaking, you kind of get that visual of you're standing in front of a group of people and you're just talking or presenting. But the truth is that public speaking and the skills that you learn from it are a lot more than just that. When you're communicating like we are right now, or you're communicating just to your family and telling a story, it's the same skill sets, it's the same confidence that comes out. So the sooner you learn it, the more it will become a part of your personality and the more it'll allow you to be confident in no matter what you do. So that way, when opportunities come up, where you have to actually showcase your work and talk to people, you won't be afraid to do it because it'll already be a part of you.
Yeah, wonderful. So, based on your experience, so let's see how much you are willing to share with us today. So, what are the top three missteps to avoid when it comes to public speaking or effective communication?
Hmm. That's a great question. I would say the first one would probably be don't sell yourself too short. And I think if you go into something and you're like, oh, I can't do something because I'm too young or I'm too old or I don't have the right background, I don't have the right skill set, then you're never going to make progress. And if you go in with that negative mindset, you're already setting yourself up for failure. When I when I used to think about public speaking, I always used to like listen to TED Talks, but I never thought at that point that I would be doing a TED Talk by the age of 20. I'm really happy that I've been able to do so. But if I went in saying, "Oh, if I want to do that, I'll do it when I'm like 50 or more experienced," then I would have missed out on this opportunity. So that would be the first one. If you sell yourself short, then you're basically setting yourself up for failure. The second one that I would say is if you jump right into something and you don't actually take the time to plan, that can also be a big mistake because you might just have so many thoughts running around that you might not be able to provide the best and most polished product for your business or whatever you're working on. And the third one I would probably say is the biggest mistake you can make is if you're not open. And that's true for yourself as well as you're communicating with other people. If you're trying to launch a business and you're saying that you want to say own up a ice cream store, simplest thing, you're trying to open up an ice cream store, but at the same time, if you refuse to actually listen to your customers who are on the receiving end, then it's not going to allow your business to grow. It's the same mindset with any other thing that you do. If you're not open to change, if you're not open to new ideas, then you're not going to be able to adapt with the times. And that's going to be a negative downfall for you as a person because it'll put a lot of unnecessary strain on you as well as for your business. So I would say those are the three biggest mistakes that you can make.
Oh, this is a great. It's a great learning for all of us, including myself. So, I'm sure you learn so much, and sometimes you feel proud of it what you achieved, and sometimes you feel, oh, I could have done better. It's like suboptimal
Absolutely.
results, that happen. So, even at a young age, I would like to want you to share one of your failure,
Mhm.
whatever you like to share, and what did you learn from that? How did you recover from it?
That's a great one. I think sometimes we focus too much on our accomplishments and not on our failures.
Yeah.
And I would say one of my failures was actually since I'm a student, as I mentioned, I started taking a class and I was working so hard for that class. And I was doing everything that was required. I was going to lecture, reading the textbook, and I still wasn't doing well on the exams. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was so I was so frustrated and I kept beating myself over it that I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not doing it? And then I realized that even though I'm doing the right things and I'm not getting to the exact result, that doesn't mean that I'm not making progress. I am one step closer. It might not be exactly where I wanted to be at this point, but I'm headed in the right direction. And if I keep beating myself up for it, that's only pushing me backwards. So then I ended up actually giving myself a breather, making sure that I had the time to take a break from my studying. And then as I did that, I kept telling myself, you're doing a good job, you're doing a good job. And that actually allowed me to actually do well in the class eventually. So
Yes.
quick way
Yeah.
to turn it around.
Yeah, that's good. So if no one appreciates you, you can self-pad yourself, huh?
Exactly. I always say be your own champion because even when there's no one around you, you need to be there for yourself.
Yeah, no, this is wonderful. So, what are your top three success secrets? So let's see how maybe there's so many other young people can model your success secrets.
Absolutely. So the first success secret that I would share is grow your network. And when I say grow your network, I don't only mean in a professional setting. Of course, especially as a young individual like myself, I try to connect with as many people. That way, in case down the line, as I'm growing professionally, I can leverage them and bring them into my business and whatever that scene might look like. But when I say grow your network, I also mean from a professional, I mean from a personal standpoint. So try to meet with as many people and try to learn from them, whether it be about their experiences, their failures, their achievements. Because as you connect with people, you end up growing personally and you end up learning more about yourself than you really think you would. And as you do that, you're able to kind of bring those lessons into your business. And it again doesn't matter if it's a podcast like I have, doesn't matter for you, whatever your business is, you'll be able to see your personal growth and then your professional growth. So that was the first one. Definitely grow your network. And again, that's for anyone at any stage in their life.
Yeah.
Second one I would probably say is related to that, but slightly different in the sense that be selective about the content and the people that you surround yourself with. So when I say that, I'm saying that we all are people. We all, no matter who we are and what we do, only have 24 hours in the day. How we choose to spend those 24 hours is dependent on us. So yes, there will be days when we might be a little lazy. We might just want to sit in bed, watch a movie, and that's completely fine. We all need those days. But at the same time, when you're actively working, make sure that if you only have an hour break, use that hour to do something that makes you happy and makes you actually feel empowered because, again, it's going to funnel back into your work. And that work, when you see your work actually going, is going to allow you to grow. So it's that cycle. If you put a negative thing in that thought, it's just going to keep growing. Whereas if you put a positive thing, something that motivates you, it's going to allow you and your business to grow. And then the third one I would say is find the right person slash team. So of course, depending on what stage of life you're at, doesn't matter if you're professionally speaking or personally, you need to surround yourself with the right people and find people who actually complement you. And that doesn't mean that it's the person who thinks exactly like you. No, that's what I was saying earlier. For the podcast, actually, my sister and I were quite different in a lot of ways. So finding her and bringing her on board was an important decision because it allowed us two different people to come together. That way, when we sit down to write our scripts, we have two different mindsets. That way, when we think of our audience and our listeners, we're like, what is exactly what they want to hear, and how can we deliver it to them in a way that they feel connected to us? So it's a good compliment that we have. So make sure that you find the right person or team as you're looking to grow your business and just learn more about other people and the business and the field where you're in.
Great. I'm going to ask a follow-up question on this one. Grow
Mm,
your network and make sure you know who you're hanging out with, mostly spending a time with.
mm.
So my follow-up question is how to get rid of negative people from your network, including your family members and relatives. You know what I'm talking about. So
Absolutely. So positivity is actually something that we actually published a couple of episodes on that in 5 Minute Think. And especially in COVID, we decided to focus more on that because again, people might be stuck in the home and there might be a family member who's negative, there might be a spouse that's negative. So it's hard to kind of break away from that. And it's not an easy thing. And I think that's the first thing to recognize. It's not an easy thing to get rid of negative energy. But I think the more important thing to realize that no matter what it is, you are the center of your universe. So if negativity is coming from outside, that's where positivity is also coming. That's where all the energy is coming from outside. But you get to decide what you're bringing in. So a simple way of actually breaking that negativity from actually entering your system, entering your body, entering your mind is every time a negative thought comes or someone brings you down, just close your eyes for a second and just say, no, I'm not going to let that enter my system. And it sounds silly, and I know it sounds silly, but it's kind of like if someone's at your door and you just like don't want to let them in, or if there's like a bad, you're just kind of closing the gate right at the beginning. And you have to make sure that as you say no, you also transform it and say the positive. So, for example, if someone's saying, "Oh, for us, right? If someone was like, "Oh, you guys are so young, you can't have a podcast," or "What are you going to say that people are going to want to listen to?" I would say, "No, I'm not going to put my energy into that. I'm not going to put my thought into that. I have an idea and I want to give it a try. And I want to put my energy into it because I know it can be a success." So as you kind of reaffirm your thoughts in a positive way, it'll naturally keep that negativity and those negative thoughts away from you.
yeah, great tip to handle how to reject a negative energy and still stay focused on that what you want to do. Thank you so much. I learned a lot from you, Geetika. So how the growth hacking secret community people who are watching it right now, how they can support you?
So I would say there's three ways that you could probably support us. And the first way is, like I said, we're fairly new. We only have actually 7 episodes, one which was released this morning. And we're still new in the podcast industry, and we want to make sure that we connect with a lot of people. So the first and really simple way is definitely go and listen to our episodes and just hear them. And then the second way is after you hear them, actually share them with other people so we get a wider audience. And the third way, of course, is we're doing the episodes for you guys. So definitely communicate with us, whether it be through our email, our website has a contact page, our Instagram, whatever way, communicate with us and share your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking of the episodes. Also, let us know if there's a specific topic you want us to talk about, because that communication between us is what will actually be beneficial for you on the receiving end and also for us as the host.
Wonderful, wonderful. The website link is also shared under the video and in the comments and chat, and also it's appearing around your screen. If you don't know how to type in very quickly, just take a screenshot and make sure when you have enough time to type it to the long URL. And also, you can on the podcast platform just think about just search for 5 minute think podcast. That's it. Very very simple. So as we are about to wrap up, Gatika, time runs fast. So I like to ask question to almost every guest to make sure I get the feedback on the show. What's happening. So here's the question: what would you say to your best friend about growth hacking secret show when I'm not there?
That's a great question. I would say, going back to one of the tips that I said, the secrets, grow your network. This is a great way to grow your network. Learn from other people, watch the conversations, hear what other people have to say, and use the lessons that you learn here in your own life, personally or professionally. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to actually grow yourself. So it's definitely a must watch.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
As a final word, I just want to say COVID has been tough on a lot of people. We've seen a lot of chaos in the world, and 2020 was not easy. But at the same time, if you think that your life is busy, remember that life will always be busy. So make sure that you actually take the time for yourself and for the things that you love. And that is our hope with 5 Minute Think. We want to make sure that you realize to take even merely just 5 minutes out of your day for yourself to think, learn, and relax. And we really hope that whether it be through the means of this podcast or just anywhere else through your life, that you remember that. Put yourself first.
Yeah, my final word is go on 5 minute think podcast and start listening every day. One
I
episode at least 5 minutes every day. Why? Because that will bring you positive energy, new positive idea, how you can reject the negative thoughts and bring in positive. Incrementally, you will be a much better person. You will learn a lot. So
really
thank you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Geetika Verma, thank you so much. I really appreciate coming on Growth Hacking Secrets Show on the behalf of our Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.